We have the Super ATV lower control arms. These things are actually wider and set forward more for our Can-Am Renegade we got over there. The tools you're going to need today are 15mm deep socket with 3/8 drive, dead blow hammer, 17mm socket, 19mm socket, T25 Torx, hammer. Alright, first thing that you need to do is you need to remove the wheel. It is a 17mm. That exposes the steering knuckle, suspension system, and brakes. Okay, so we had a little fun with this, so don't mind the mud. All right, next step, you're going to want to take off the T25 two Torx bits. These are actually good ones to keep and hang on to also. They fit a lot of different things. What's good also is you can repurpose the actual clip that sits behind here for fender pieces and everything. If you want to ever convert one of those push plastic clips into this style where they can basically slide over, if you want to remove that out of the way, you actually slide this into the plastic and then nut and bolt it instead of having these little plastic connects. So with the new kit, that's going to be discarded. Also, what I like to do is, because it does involve brake lines in the way, you don't want them getting damaged, hurt, or anything, and obviously it's over the size there. So if you want to grab me that 15mm ratchet, large one will be fine. It's going to be the 15mm. I'm going to go ahead and remove the actual bolts that hold the caliper bracket into place. Loosen them both first before you remove one of the bolts. Two 15mm bolts. Remove the caliper bracket. Do not touch the brake lever at all, because what it'll do is it'll actually compress this and it'll push out the pistons. So it's one thing to make sure you don't want to do. Because from now until this is reinstalled, you don't want it to be touched. I think you want to grab a bungee. Yeah. Okay. Make sure you have something on there, and you just suspend the brake caliper. You don't want anything tugging on the lines. Move it out of the way. So this way you're all set. Alright. So next thing we're going to want to do is that we can remove the upper control arm. All we got to do is remove these bolts here.
Which ones? I didn't see, I'm sorry.
Take a look at that. Upper control arm bolts. Shock, everything to be removed. Once we remove this, and technically just drop everything down. Not that much, but we can just do it now to get it out of the way. Hand me the other 15mm there, please.
Long or short?
Just give me the ratchet. There you go. Okay. trick I like to do, just in case for any reason it's kind of stuck in there, I need to apply some pressure. You get the ratchet behind there. Okay. Now you have the whole suspension free. Alright, makes it a little easier. So you can move it around, do what you need to do. Alright, what we'll do is that since we have the upper control arm here, we're going to go ahead and replace that portion first. Go back to a 17 deep or a 15 deep. Alright, pretty much everything is done with 15 millimeter on this machine. One way or the other. So 15 millimeter wrench, ratcheting wrench, 15 millimeter sockets. Alright, so there is one difficult bolt to get to, and this is for both sides also. What happens is that the upper control arm, the bolt that actually remove it, here, the front upper control arm bolt, is in the way inside the frame. Can't even really see it. So what we're doing is that, Nico, you want to go ahead and remove the front bumper, and then what you need to do is grab a hold of the radiator. Once you move that out of the way, you're able to get a 15 3/8 drive deep socket into the actual area. Hold on to the bolt, let it go. Okay, as long as the radiator sits against there, there's a little weight on the ratchet. Go to the other side and then remove it with a wrench. Okay, so that is really the only difficult bolt to get to in this whole operation here. So it not actually gets trapped in there. Okay. Both threads on. Now it's not going to come out of there, it won't pop out. So what you need to do is strike it right here on the steering knuckle, and that actually loosens up the stud beside there and it'll pop out. So go ahead and just make sure you have it in one spot and give it a good hit. There we go, loosens up. Around here?
Yeah.
I can take a look, and what we're doing is that we pushed it as much as we could from the back. Then we're going to go up underneath and through here to push on the bolt. Enough to get the bolt out to there. And then from here, we can go ahead and get this to let the bolt out the rest of the way. Okay? And that'll allow us to release and pull out the whole upper control arm assembly. Alright, there's the old one. You'll see the difference of the build on here.
Hold it like, okay. That is a lot heavier.
Yeah.
It's a lot sturdier.
With our control arms here, we actually purchased the ball joints. We press them in ourselves, but nice enough for Super ATV, they actually make a set where you can purchase two different types, if I recall, two different types of actual ball joints that you can place in there. So depending on what strength level you're looking at, you know, but yeah, they're definitely beefy. And also what we did is we purchased the kit here to install bushings, rubber seals, everything on here. So, all right, reinstall those. So we have the upper control arm installed. Okay, we got both bolts in, both nuts on there, just hand tight. I won't tighten anything up yet. I'll make sure nothing falls out. So just make sure it's all set up on there. Now we're going to install the upper ball joint control arm to the steering knuckle itself This way at least you can suspend it while you're doing the bottom one. If not, then you got to have everything kind of dangling all down there, you know, this bungeed up and held in. So we're just going to do one side at a time. All right. Move the castle nut. Okay, so I'll go ahead and turn the handlebars so it gives more slack over here. Okay, let's hold off there. Put the washer in. Put the castle nut on there. I'm installing the upper control arm going into the steering knuckle itself. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to tighten it because it'll get to a certain point where the stud will actually spin. So what you got to do is get the stud and seat that into the actual control arm a little bit. This way it'll hold it enough so you can be able to nut tighten. We're going to put primer on top here, press down. You'll see you'll actually get a couple more hands on by hand. And we'll go through.
I'm getting a perfect glare from the sun. Trying not to get blinded. There we go.
Go ahead and get started on the bottom. Loosen up the 15mm bolt that locks the ball joint in place. Okay. And we're going to drop the jack.
Can we get out of here?
Good. Alright. Good. Remove the front bolt. Remember the orientation, which way they go in. Move the rear bolt. You can go ahead and move the control arm. Take a look at the difference between these two.
Yeah, look at that, it's got a whole reinforced extra bar here.
Yep.
They make a nice product.
These are actually fully adjustable also. Let's go ahead and install the control arms.
Good.
Front bolt back on. Yep.
That is nice.
Put the nut back on just to hold it in place. Okay, and when you're all finished, reinstall the wheel. It is a 17mm. Snug them all down, and then go ahead and get your impact, get your torque wrench. Snug them all down, and go ahead and get your torque wrench, torque all the wheels down.